Hey everybody, this is Perch. Every now and then I do a video, and then time goes by, and I get a response to a video, and I do a response to that video. And this is how some topics can play out over a year because of the timing of the videos. I was texting with an artist, and we were going back and forth about I was uploading videos at the time, and I was uploading 23 videos, so I could kind of pace them out over the week. And my process seems absurd to people. And I mean, I guess so. I don't know what to say about it, but this is how I do what I do, and you know, I don't know. Every now and then somebody says, how do you get all the videos up there? How do you have the consistency? How do you do it? And then I explain how I do it, and people are like, oh, fuck that, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, well, but you asked. I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Anyway, here's a response to one of my videos. Let's get into this one. But first, our viewer has some words for mumbles. Let's see what this email has to say. It says, "Hey Perch, thank you for your show. Definitely helps the time go by when I'm doing stupid things like reading comics these days. Ha! How are you listening to this show and reading comics at the same time? I don't think that works at all. But okay, if you're able to pull it off, more power to you, I guess." Um, I don't know. That sounds miserable to me, but there you are. Uh, okay. Anyway, while reading comments, by the way, you need to understand that Mumbles is killing your channel, and I'm not even joking about this. I understand it's your brand. It's my brand to pretend like you don't care about any of this stuff, and maybe you really don't. But the reality is, having somebody come in and trash every single one of your videos and just letting that happen is stupid. You have to understand the kind of people it's going to attract. Already, you've got a bunch of copycats out there. In the end, you're either going to ban Mumbles or he's going to kill off your channel. It's really not that funny. And there's a sentence in here I'm not going to repeat, but boy, you're going to have to explain how. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is maybe I'm just a boomer. I don't. I'm not though by age. But anyway, I don't get like who pays attention to the fucking comments anyway. I mean, does it matter? I don't think it matters, honestly. And the subs and everything have continued to grow at a pretty great clip, with despite Mumbles being on, being not. I don't know. It's a bit. It's just a bit. You can like the bit, you can hate the bit, you can do whatever you're going to do. I don't know that it matters. It feels like the dumbest thing I could do would be to get in there and go to war. Either the guy is doing a joke, in which case I'm going to war over somebody over a joke, which would be dumb, or he's serious, and that's just going to ignite a bunch of activity I'm not going to put in to the channel to like suddenly have to monitor all the comments to see if the guy is back. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the point of it. But does it harm me? No. I guess I don't really care. I guess that's my brand. I don't really care, and that's why I am Gen X. Anyway, back to the mail. Anyway, I recently listened to your video about critique. And one thing that I don't think you explained very well, you mentioned it, but it just kind of floated by, is the comment that very few people are able to take critique well. This is a super true statement. Everybody assumes that they take critique well, or that their side is good with criticism, but the reality is everyone is a precious little snowflake. You see everyone complaining. Case in point, somebody in your comments said that EVS was one of the most gracious people out there when it came to criticism about their product, but any fool can see EVS throwing various tantrums whenever somebody mentions something negative. Even that guy that you interviewed, when a couple people said negative things about the book, he immediately started saying, "You don't know what a real man looks like." I'm not sure who you're talking about. Gabe? I didn't notice because I wasn't paying attention to the comments. Maybe that's on there. I don't know. Anyway, case in point, there's a bunch of people on Reddit who are talking about Al Ewing being one of the most gracious and can handle any criticism about his work well. Of course, this does not mesh with the Al Ewing who blocks everyone on Twitter and seems to have a paper-thin skin when it comes to anyone insulting the work. Very few people take criticism well. Everybody seems to freak out about it. My only question to you is, why is it that people ignore this for the people they like? Anyway, keep doing what you're doing and ban mumbles. All right. Okay. Again, I don't get it. Please, somebody explain how that benefits me selfishly to ban mumbles. I think it does not. I do. My cost benefit analysis says it'd be a waste of my time and could only has negative outcomes, no positives. Whatever. Okay, so the question is, why is it that people say you should handle criticism well, and they believe their side does and the other side doesn't? I mean, the answer is in the question. Everybody always believes their side and doesn't believe the others. I mean, you tend to have blinders on around, quote unquote, your side. If you like something, then you tend to not notice all the negative aspects of it. Conversely, if you don't like something, you tend to not notice the positive aspects of it. I mean, I did a video. This goes back like 2 years, and was it the creator of Squirrel Girl, or it was before Squirrel Girl was canceled? It was still an ongoing comic. By the way, if you want to, like, how's that? Like, hey, remember when Squirrel Girl was an abomination that was super shitty, and the comic book was destroying all of comics? And then remember when that side was fighting with the other side that says Squirrel Girl was like the #1 selling comic on all of digital and was super successful and popular? Remember when those two dumb sides were fighting? Hey, you know what? It's 2022. You know what is not on the stands and haven't been for some time? Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl dead? Like, when was the last time we saw Squirrel Girl in anything? Does that character exist anymore? Who knows? You'd think for the most popular, biggest selling book in all of digital, you'd think that they would still be pumping out that comic. Conversely, you would think if it was the worst comic of all time, you'd see people celebrating the fact that Squirrel Girl doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. It feels like one day everybody's like, well, let's just stop making a comic, and in return, you'll stop bitching. And then, like, two people shook hands in a basement somewhere, and nobody talks about it anymore. It's just gone. Okay, fair enough. I don't know. There's a place in Texas, by the way. I passed billboards, and I just passed one, where it's like a chicken place where they serve chicken. And they have a Jesus manger scene, you know, the classic with the wise men and the Joseph and Mary and Jesus and animals, except it's all in chicken. They have like chickens portraying all the characters. And the baby Jesus is like a chicken, but not a living chicken, like a chicken you're going to eat. And that feels really blasphemous on some. I mean, I'm not a religious guy, but that doesn't seem right. I don't want to see, crispy fried Jesus in a manger scene. See, I don't get it. Texas, y'all. Anyway, I guess my point here is that look, everybody bitches about everything. No, I'm not saying that. It's just, one thing that drives me a little crazy. I'd be lying if I said it didn't. Is that I do dislike how people have blinders on for things. It's the same problem I have with whenever anybody says, like, I was talking to a writer who was saying, I've never seen any comic writer ever go off on a fan. I've never seen it. I'm like, I'm not saying it happens like every minute of every day, nor am I saying that 100% of creators do it. They clearly don't. In fact, in reality, if you take the colorists, the pencilers, the inkers, the writers, the editors, and all the other people who make comics, the reality is probably less than 5 to 10% of creators have gone off on fans. No, seriously. If you when was the last time you saw a letterer just tearing into a fan? When was the last time you saw that? Anyway. It's not that many people who do it. But it's easy to find. So I said to the guy, I'm like, no, you can just Google search this. Like, there's screenshots. I feel like I have to add all these disclaimers. I'm like, not everybody's doing it. Not even a majority of people are doing it, but it does exist. I mean, like, hell, do you remember when Chuck Winding went off on fans? And then what proceeded was a mental gymnastics that I've seen, all sides in this dumb little war participate in. And the mental gymnastics went along the lines of, Well, the person he was yelling at when he said, like, whatever, Trump eaters can eat shit or whatever it is, eat a boot of shit, something like that. That was his comment. It got him kicked off of a Marvel book for saying that, because it did felt like more than just I'm going off on a fan. It felt like he really wanted to just pick up a brick and beat somebody to death. That's how it came across. It was very hostile. And it's like, so the gymnastics that occurred were then like, well, that person's not really a customer or a fan. So, Winding wasn't insulting anyone who was actually a fan of their book. Like, okay, that's a bunch of bullshit reasoning right there. And then came and besides, Chuck Winding isn't really a comic writer. He's a writer from somebody else. You can't really say he's a comic creator because he's worked in other industries. I'm like, yeah, but he was writing a comic at the time. That's what lost him his job, writing the comic. So it's like, I hate all these, well, let me give you the 15 reasons why I can argue my way into something I'm saying being technically correct. No, it's not correct. I love the excuse of, the person that this guy is going off on, that person is not really a fan, so that makes it fair game to go off on. Like, no, that's not the bar. You're supposed to treat human beings, whoever they might be, with some level of professional courtesy and respect. The fact of whether they're a fan or not a fan. I mean, like, is the person 1% fan or 10% fan? Like, at what point, at what percentage of fandom do you need to be at before somebody can tell you eat a boot of shit? I mean, is it like, well, if I'm 5% a fan, then it's fair game. But if you're 10% of a fan, then no, you should probably just say, fuck off. And if you're 20% of a fan, then you can say you're an asshole. And if you're 40% of a fan, then you just need to say nice things about their mother. Like, well, come on, this is all absurd. If you're going up. But to the point of the mail, I still stand by what I said. I can't. I mean, show me the person who has legitimately, always been nice and gracious to, customers, fans, people, potential customers, whatever wording you want to describe it. Show me the person who's been, polite and gracious. I'd love to see them, because everybody has slipped up. Everybody has, maybe not Ben Templesmith, but everyone else has slipped up at some point. They've gone off on something. One of the nice guy, one of the nicest guys. Certainly, I like. How could you possibly dislike this guy, Jim Zub, who's just always very polite? I remember he went off on somebody over comics piracy. It happens. I'm not saying that makes it right. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying, it's easy to say, always be nice to potential customers. It's very hard to actually, live up to that. Very hard. You should always try, but anyone who tells you, I have never ever spoken a single bad word to anyone, that person is a liar. Unless, I guess, you're baby chicken Jesus in a measure. I don't know. Anyway, a lot of things discussed in this video. And you got mumbles, we got baby chicken Jesus, we got lots of stuff there. So there you have it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Again, that's not to excuse bad behavior, but it is being an adult and being real about it. That bad behavior exists. To me, it's a little bit less never doing the bad behavior, and it's a little bit more, what do you do after it? Like, how do you wake up every day and try and be a better person than the day before? Like, is that a goal to strive for? I'll be honest, that's one thing I try and do. Do I succeed? Hell no. Not all the time, every now and then. But just, you wake up every day and you're like, I'm going to try and be a little bit better of a human being today than I was yesterday. And, you won't always win, but hell, there's worse things to live by. Thanks for listening.